Hello, good evening once again. My name is Ibuku. I'm the lead strategist for Inspiring Careers and Solutions, ICaS Nigeria. What ICaS Nigeria does is we are mostly into student recruitment for foreign studies. So people interested in studying in the diaspora, we undo admissions and we provide visa guidance for those intended to study in either the UK, Republic of Ireland, and Canada.
Father was not aware of what she was doing.
Okay, so let me take that again. So Inspiring Careers and Solutions, ICaS Nigeria, or ICaS Travels, as we are popularly known on Instagram. We are involved with student recruitment for further studies in the diaspora. So mostly for students that are looking to study in the Republic of Ireland, in the UK or Canada. For this session today, this session is hosted by or sponsored by the National College of Ireland. We are meant to have Michael Gavin. Can I please ask for people that are not talking at the moment should please mute themselves?
Now,
Okay, sorry for the short break or the break in transmission. So as I was saying, this session is, I'm going to share my screen. This session is sponsored by the National College of Ireland. We are meant to have Michael Gavin as the guest speaker today, but unfortunately he's down with fever. So hopefully we're gonna have another one probably in the next few weeks when he's fully recovered. And we have, however, we have people that have studied in the Republic of Ireland. They finished, they completed their master's program, and they are currently working professionally in Ireland. So they will be sharing their experience today with us on how, if you're coming in as a student, what kind of job you should be looking at, what courses you should actually be looking to study, what type of job you should be applying for, and which employers are you meant to target. And if you're currently in Nigeria working as a professional, I will be sharing as well to us before the program ends, but that will be at the later part of the program. I will be sharing the job sites or recruiters you could actually contact based on your profession. It's not impossible for you to secure a sponsored work permit from Nigeria. It might be difficult, but it is not impossible. So these are part of what we'll be exploring today during the webinar. So I'd like to welcome us all. We're gonna have more people joining later on, but I don't want to keep anybody pending or waste people's time. So we're just gonna start. So I'll be sharing my screen and I will be doing a bit of review before I hand over to Mr. Rio, to Agape, to Gifts, and probably to Temilade as well during the course of the seminar, of the webinar. Thank you very much. So like I said earlier, ICaS is called Inspiring Careers and Solutions. We are registered under the Corporate Affairs Commission as an education consulting firm. We work in partnership with Irish universities or institutions. We work with British institutions as well, and so a few of Canadian universities too, for student recruitment and placement into higher education institutions. So this webinar, like I said earlier, is sponsored by the National College of Ireland. Currently, Michael is down with COVID, so if he's feeling better, probably he has the link, he will join in later. If not, we probably will have to reschedule. But I think most of the things he would want to cover professionally as well will be covered with the current professionals that we have in Ireland. So they will be sharing their experience with us today. We are not going to hold back on the truth. It's not easy. I know people feel like if you get abroad, all your problems are solved, but it's not naturally, it's not all easy like that. So people are going to share their experience with us, and I hope we will be able to learn from that experience as well. So like I said earlier, we'll be sharing discerning and truthful information. We are not going to hold anything back. We are not trying to sugarcoat the reason why you need to study abroad. Definitely, it might be better than Nigeria for some people. For others, depending on where you currently at professionally or career-wise, it might not be the best decision for some people, but for most people, it might be the best decision for them, considering further studies or considering to look for an employment in diaspora. Depending on where you lie, I think whatever we are talking about today, you'll be able to pick one or two things, not necessarily for every individual. It may be for your spouse, it may be for your children in the nearby future. So today we discuss affordable routes to securing work permits in 2022 or in 2023. Cheap or expensive is relative, depending on what the price or the cost or the cost implications are, or depending on what your pocket is saying, you'll be able to decide which alternative routes you feel will suit you better. It's a popular knowledge that we can all travel either through study routes or through work permit or through permanent residence. So today, however, we'll be covering either through the study route or people migrating or looking for a better future through the work permit route. So moving forward, comparing the study routes for professionals to migrate abroad, the tuition fee on average is 12,000 euros for the Republic of Ireland, which going by the current bank rates will be at 6 million naira for tuition fee. This varies depending on the school you're going to. This varies depending on the course you're applying for. And we have some courses in Ireland that are as cheap as 7,500 euros. Either as a bachelor's degree top-up. So top-up bachelor's degree is mostly for people that have HND or people that have a bachelor's degree, but they graduated with a pass or a third class. So they could actually go through the bachelor's degree, the top-up degree, the top-up program for bachelor's degree. It's a one-year program. So depending on the school you're going to, it can be as relatively as cheap as 7,500 euros currently, and that would be at less than 4 million naira. So which is it's equivalent of around 3.8 million naira to be precise. However, if you're going for other schools, we have some master's program. Take for example, Waterford Institute of Technology. They have most of their programs, their master's programs at 10,500 euros to 11,000 euros. And then if you are able to apply early before the deadline, you have an opportunity to get as much as 2,500 euros off your tuition fee. So most times we've had with students that their tuition fee came down to 8,500 euros or less than 9,000 euros overall. So 9,000 euros overall, going by the current bank exchange rates or CBN exchange rates, would be at around 4.5 million. However, there are some other schools that might cost as much as 15,000 or 13,500. But on average, if you have at least a 2-1 or you have at least a 2-2 in your bachelor's degree, your tuition fee on average in Ireland, depending on where you want to study, in Dublin or outside Dublin, would be pegged at around 12,000 euros, which is around 6 million naira. For Republic of Ireland, most schools in Ireland, I would say 80% of schools in Ireland require that you're paying your tuition in full before you are applying for your visa. So depending on what your situation is, which takes me to the next point, your required proof of fund for visa application mostly varies between 7,000 euros and can go as much as 20,000 euros. 7,000 euros is required if you're a single applicant and you're sponsoring yourself. So that means after you've paid your tuition in full, if your school requires that you pay your tuition in full, you are required to show the visa officer that you have access to 7,000 euros or more, depending on what your situation is. So 7,000 euros would be at 3.5 million, going by the current exchange rate in Nigeria. If, however, you are married and you're going to be leaving a family behind, either your spouse will be left behind or your children will be staying behind while you go and study, or you're using a sponsor. And depending on if you have paid your tuition in full or not, your proof of funds for visa application you may be required to show up to 20,000 euros as the situation might apply or the circumstance might apply to you. Medical insurance for a one-year program in Ireland is 160 euros, which is approximately around 80,000 naira. Visa fees as well is 400 euros. You pay 100 euros in Nigeria, which is around 50,000, and then you pay 300 euros in Ireland or upon arrival in Ireland for you to get the long-term permits, because the visa you get in Nigeria is only temporary. It's mostly for like 4 to 5 months, but you get the card on arrival in Ireland. Moving on, however, to the sponsored work permit routes. Like I said earlier, if you're a professional in Nigeria, mostly for people that have, for instance, you have a bachelor's degree in computer science or IT, and you have gone to do a specialized master's program, let's say, for example, in data analytics, or you have professional certifications in data analytics, and you've been working professionally in that field for a number of years. It's actually really possible. It's the chances that might be slim or the requirements might be more, but it is actually possible for you to be able to source for employers in Ireland that can actually sponsor your work permits. 2 years ago, this was very rampant before the pandemic. I've had situations where I've seen at least in a year, I've seen 3 or 4 people that actually got employers in Ireland that wanted them to come over to Ireland to come and work professionally. Beginning of this year as well, we had someone in health sciences. She's a practicing nurse. She has over 20 years experience in Nigeria, and she was able to land a job professionally with one of the hospitals in Republic of Ireland. And they sponsored her visa all through. They gave her the work permit. She paid for her visa. It's a sponsored visa. So she's coming directly to work and be earning a salary. And her salary, at the time when she consulted us for visa guidance, her salary was a starting point of at least 33,000 euros per year. And then after our adaptation period, which is for 6 weeks, she'll be moving on to 42,000 euros per year. So after tax, she's looking to be earning nothing less than 3,000 to 3,500 euros per month in the Republic of Ireland. So like I said earlier, depending on what your occupation is, depending on the professions, depending on the qualifications you currently have, and then depending on the years of experience, the years of practical experience you have below your belt as well, it is not impossible for you to get a sponsored work permit from Nigeria. So moving on to this now. So employer needs to be approved or licensed to offer a work sponsorship visa to a non-EEA. So non-EEA are non-European citizens or nationals. So if you're applying from Nigeria and you're Nigerian, you're a non-EEA, you're a non-European applicant. So one of the things you need to do is to make sure that the employer is actually licensed and they can actually sponsor your work visas. So secondly, employer needs to show proof that they have advertised a vacant position for 3 to 6 months and unable to find a suitable candidate within the Republic of Ireland. So mostly it's a standard requirements for people, for the employers on their own part to ensure that they have placed advertisements and they are unable to find a suitable candidate to fill the role within the Republic of Ireland. So this could be Irish nationals. This could be European nationals. It could actually be students that have finished their master's program or any form of academics in Ireland. And so the employer needs to be able to show that they've advertised for a period of time and they are unable to find either an Irish national, European national, or a graduate, an international student that's completed their studies to fill that role before they can sponsor you from abroad. So, and then the employer needs to be ready to pay at least 30,000 euros per annum. So your contract should show that you are going to be earning nothing less than these amounts before the visa office will approve the request for your work permit to be sponsored, or the approval of your work permits. So moving on, there's a list. Republic of Ireland has a list of occupations that they have. There's a shortage of those occupations in Ireland, and they need people to fill that. One of the easiest way for students to identify this, before students can actually go and apply, we encourage them to have a look at this website and see what fits the academic background and what fits their professional background as well. So it will help them streamline the kind of courses they should be considering, because at the end of the day, it still boils down to you getting an employer to sponsor you on a long-term permit. Definitely, if you're completing a one-year master's program in Ireland, you have opportunity for 2 years stay back automatic work permits, the post-study work permits. So if you complete a one-year master's program and you finish and you graduate, you are eligible to apply for the 2 years work permit for you to stay back in the Republic of Ireland. But then after 2 years, what happens? So for you to be prepared ahead before that 2 years will lapse of your post-study work permit, it is very critical that you understand, or very important that you understand, that they have a list of critical occupation in demand in Ireland. So I'm going to stop share. I'll be sharing another website. I'll be sharing the website directly that has this information about the critical skill occupation list for Republic of Ireland. Kindly bear with me a second, please. Okay, so this is the website where the Republic of Ireland government has placed the occupations that are in demand in Ireland, the needed field. So these goes from production managers, directors, to ICT professionals, people working in telecommunications as well, health professionals, scientists as well. So this could be medical laboratory scientists. This could be someone that has done microbiology or biochemistry and the likes, and you're currently working professionally in that field. So this occupation in demand list applies to you as a student. If you're going to study in Ireland, it is very good that you have looked through this list and you're picking a very good course for yourself. Yeah, definitely you will get the 2 years after your master's program to stay back and work, but then it's good that you're strategically positioning yourself even before leaving Nigeria, that you're actually picking a course that is in demand and you have an higher chance of getting your work visa or your long-term work permit sponsored. If, however, you are a professional currently working in Nigeria, you need to go through this list as well, so that you know if you're actually strategically positioned for you to look for an employer. So if you're looking for employers and you want them to sponsor your work permit, most likely your occupation should fall into one of these categories: engineering profession, medical engineers, electrical engineers. Another one in demand would be sustainable and renewable energy engineers as well, because the Republic of Ireland seems more to be diverting a little bit away from the oil fossils and going more towards renewable energy. So moving forward, like I said earlier, information technology and telecommunications professionals. So this includes project managers as well, business analysts, system designers, system architects, programmers, software developers, web designers, and other ICT related professions. So for health professionals, medical practitioners. So medical practitioners include nurses, doctors, and all that. And then pharmacists as well. Yeah, so we have the nursing and midwifery professionals as well. So registered nurses or registered midwives. For the teaching and education professionals, if they've put it at equivalent to level 10, so that means you probably should have a PhD for you to be considered for this. So we have management consultants, business analysts in big data, data mining, etc., etc. Business and financial project managers, financial analysts, people involved in investment analysts, fraud analytics, and so on, economists, architects and town planners and surveyors. So if you've done something in urban and regional planning, you could be you can look into any of this as well. So welfare professionals, social workers, media professionals, other health professionals, so design occupations. So it is important that you just don't have experience in this. It is important that you have a certification that backs this category up for you as well. So I'm going to go back to the slide. Okay, so some people requested I share the site in the chat box. So I'm going to drop, hold on for me a minute, please. So I'll just drop this in there. Okay, so I'll share that for everyone to have an access to. So if you're looking to check out the professions in the whole. Okay, so I think okay, so average salary earnings per annum in Ireland would be from minimum of 27,000 euros per year. So an average of around 35,000 euros per year. It depends on the kind of experience you have and the kind of qualifications you have and the kind of job role you're applying for. So this is not pegged that if you're applying from Nigeria, oh, you only need to be earning this. So like I said earlier, if you're applying from Nigeria, your employer needs to be able to pay at least 30,000 euros per annum. If, however, you've studied in Ireland, for you to be sponsored, I think they waive that to be, you can be earning at least 27,000 euros per annum and an employer can sponsor you. So if you have that in your own employment contract, if you're currently in Ireland and you're a student and you've graduated, your employer can sponsor you. So far, you are earning between 27,000 and 28,000 euros per annum. If, however, you're outside Nigeria, like I said earlier, the employer should be ready to pay a minimum of 30,000 euros per annum. So this 27,000 or 30,000, I would say on average, you can earn per annum in Ireland, 33,000 euros per annum. However, some people or professions, depending on the profession, depending on your years of experience, and depending on your qualification and the skill sets you have, some employers can actually pay way more than that. I think I've had some of our students in Ireland that graduated and their own starting salary was at 40,000 euros per annum. So it depends. Michael has there's a student that graduated from NCI and she only had 1 year experience from a bank in Nigeria and she completed a master's in fintech in Ireland. And at the time when she got an employer to sponsor her, she started at 70,000 euros per annum. So there are exceptional cases, and then there are the medium class cases, and then you have the low class cases as well. But it's divided into two parts. If I graduate in Ireland at the moment, your employer can sponsor you. So far you're earning, so far your contract states that they will be paying you nothing less than 27 to 28,000 euros per annum. If you're however in Nigeria and you're looking for a work sponsorship from Nigeria, it is important that you know that before an employer can sponsor you, your employment contract should state that you'll be earning 30,000 euros per annum on the minimum. So I want to go to the link and so that we all have a look at what's depending on the occupation, what the average income is. Okay. So here we have, depending on the salary surveys they've had over time. So like I said, these ones are exceptional cases. 60,000 euros per annum would be for exceptional cases. This could be determined by the skill set of the person. This could be determined by the qualification they have. But more importantly, it could be determined by the years of experience. And it could actually be determined by the kind of organization employing them. So there are some cases where there's a commission attached that is separate from the salary as well. So you can actually find an employer that is employing you, and your annual take home is actually maybe 35,000 per annum. But then they have, maybe especially if you're into something like sales or something related to sales. So they might have a commission payment by the side as well that comes on top of your salary if you meet your targets. So this is variant depending on what the situation is or the circumstance is. So this is another one. So they said the typical salary in Ireland will be at 38,617 euros per annum. So as much as 42,000. Okay, that's an equivalent of 42,000 US dollars. So the most paid careers are in healthcare and medical, and their own average income is 90,000. So average means that you probably have some ex-professionals in this field that are earning above 100,000, and then you have some people that are earning around 40,000. So by the time you put an average together, it will normally come down to these amounts. It doesn't mean this is a certain amount you would get as a graduate or someone applying professionally from Nigeria. You might be lucky if you have the requirements for you to get that, but I won't say you should go by this. But we've seen it up here that says the typical earning scale per annum will be at 38,000 euros per annum. So like I said earlier, based on education, highest salary received people with doctorate degree with a salary of 89,740 per annum. So the second most paid education level is master's degree with a salary of 66,000. I've said earlier, I'm still going to repeat it again. So this is not for everybody. Yes, you might have a master's degree, but this is different. It's dependent on different factors. So different experiences affect earning as well. People with 20 years or above years of experience receive a salary of 86,000. So it depends on your years of experience, depends on the skill sets you have as well. I'm going to share my screen again while we go back to the slide. Okay. So is it worth studying or working and living in the Republic of Ireland? So my experience, I myself have studied in the UK before coming back to Nigeria. It is important at some point in someone's career or your life that you have a bit of foreign experience or a bit of foreign education. It doesn't mean you have to necessarily travel out of Nigeria, because I know there's some people that are doing extremely well in Nigeria, but it helps you have a much more open or a diversified cultural experience as well. It opens you for bigger opportunities too. So you can actually complete further studies from the comfort of your home in Nigeria You can opt in for online learning or online academic studies, or you could actually look for probably a short-term course or a long-term course. It all depends on what your finances are, depends on your own time, your schedule, or the time you have available for yourself to do that, or probably just for better living or better life experience, for you to just maybe for 1 year or 2 years, look for an employer to sponsor your work permits, and then you get that international knowledge or professional work experience as well. So I'm going to pass the session on to Mr. Ariyo so that he can share his experience with us and agape and gifts as well. So, Mr. Ariyo, you have the floor, please.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, ICaS. Can everyone hear me well?
Yes, please.
All right, good. So, as shown in the slide, I came here in 2020 to study sustainable energy engineering at WIT, and I graduated last year. The good thing is that I was able to actually get a job before I graduated. So I'll be sharing some of the tips that helped me to achieve that aim. The first one is that we should always have a plan before coming down. Before I came down here, I had studied the course. I knew the type of jobs I could get after the course. I had actually read, about Ireland, trying to get more sources for electricity, and they had passed certain laws which helped me, in the field. So the first thing is that we should have a plan before coming, and then when you get here, as ICaS said we are not going to sugarcoat anything here. My first exam here, I scored 40, and 40 is like your pass mark.
Like let my people go mark.
Yes. So and it was not because I was not prepared for that course. I was prepared, but I was like trying to make my work fanciful and nice and clean and neat, and in under 2 hours I had expended all the time to solve 5 questions on just 2. Luckily for me, those 2 that I solved very, very well gave me my 40p, he said. But then I now learned from that going forward, when you're writing exams, don't try and be neat, don't try and be anything, just go answer the questions and try to finish as quick as possible, and then you can now go back to check your work. So, and no other thing I would say is that all schools have their own international office, and you should ensure that you make full use of it. The office is there to help you, to assist you. And if you have any questions, if you are going through anything, always feel free to reach out to them. Now, bearing that in mind, I have to point out that your first semester will determine exactly the points that you will graduate with. If you do very, very well in your first, chances are that you will graduate with a good grade. And if you have a good grade, it definitely helps you the end when I'm applying for jobs. Another thing I would also point out is that because of the laws are like well stated here, right? Many people do not actually know that you can start applying for a permanent job immediately after your second semester. It is there in the law that you can start working full-time from June 1st, but many students have this idea that, oh, they have to complete their course first and then graduate before applying. And I'm just trying to just let everyone know that that is not the case. In fact, the very day that you land here, begin to do applications. I am saying do that early so that or things like your resume, cover letters, you would have sent them out. People would have seen it. And if you keep on applying and you do not get any feedback, that means that there's something wrong with either your CV or with your cover letter. So when you start your application early, it helps you to get over your cover letters, everything very, very well. You have it in place for immediately after, and then you can, just kick off. And as I said, what I personally did was that all of the opportunities that I got between September and December that year, I used them, as like a test. I could see what sort of questions they would ask, interviews, I knew the type of steps to take, how to go about answering questions and things like that. And this helped me later when I was now in the thick of applying for a full-time job. I had gone through so many interviews and tests and everything that I was sure of what to do. And, it helps to boost your own confidence, and it shows. One other thing I would also want them to point out is that when you are in class here, please stand out. Make sure that you are always asking questions. Let those who teach you, let them know you that, that there's somebody in this class that always participates and they ask. Because in the end, when you are now applying for jobs, you will need referees, preferably people from here. And most likely you would not know so many people. So I had linked up with my people in the class, and they were able to stand by me when I actually needed referees. I think I have just 2 more points. So yes, there are lots of jobs out here, but you need some form of experience for you to get the really good paying jobs. So if you have experience from home, ensure that you have packaged your self well, and then you can defend that. Now, not everybody will have experience. My own course, I have an engineering background, but I have never worked in the field of or stay in renewable energy. So one thing that I did is that all of my assessments, all of my coursework, I used that to build my experience. So if I had a coursework that tied to some of the roles that that I had applied for. I would say, oh, during my course, I used so and so software to do
Take the lights. Drop the iPad.
A, B, C, D. And, I kind of used, and I just used that to like say that, yes, I might not have the practical experience, but at least I have the knowledge. And then my last point would be that when you get to that stage that you are now being interviewed, be confident of yourself. For you to have crossed several stages and to get to that point, they've seen something in you. I would want to advise that if you are coming to take a job in Dublin, try to bargain for at least 40,000, as your starting pay. If you show confidence, you can definitely get it. And apart from that rent inside Dublin is a bit high. So, the more cash that you can get, it would definitely help you. But above all, have a plan, work your plan, every opportunity that you see, go after it. Do not, feel bad if it does not work out. Always ask yourself, what did I do wrong this time? And then try to correct it in the next time. And I can tell you for free that since I've been here, I graduated in September, but I started working in June. And it's been a blessing being here. So I can only wish everyone the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rio. So I have a question. So I wanted to ask about the careers team. I know like most schools normally have a specific careers team. They help with CVs, preparing you for interviews and all that. So were they helpful in any way? Or can we just go and do our own CV with our Nigerian standard? Or is it important to make use of them?
Oh, it is very key that you make use of them, because they know what the standards are over there, right? Yeah. So they would help you tailor it in such a way, right, that it will be attractive to the people who are trying to sieve through. That is one. Then secondly, you must be friends with everybody in the career office and in the international office. You do not know the kind of support they can give. And like when I got here, I got really close to them, and I kept on telling them, if there are any opportunities, let me know. I would take part. Since, while I was studying, they sent so many opportunities my way. I was on a board that decided how education for the whole of Ireland, happens. Yeah. And I was there because I let them know I am here, and if you have anything or if you need me for anything, I'll be there to work. I was on virtually 4 or 5 boards. Wow. And everything worked out in the end to get me to where I am now.
Yeah, so it's important that people participate. Don't just go for academics, be involved in literally every part. Like I know when I study, I see some people when you ask them for reference and be like, there's no one I can contact. I don't have anybody. So you didn't actually make a relationship with any of your lecturers, because you don't necessarily have to go through the school records team. You could actually reach out to Mr. Desmond, please, I need a reference from you. Amanda, please, I need a reference from you. But it's based on your contributions in class, the kind of relationship you have built with them. So don't say nobody is too small and nobody is too important for you to approach, because at the end of the day, everything still boils down. It will all come down to when you're applying for that job. Not every one of them will respond, because definitely we still have the racial part to deal with, but it's important that you lend your hand forward. So not everybody will take your hand, but the few that would be helpful for you eventually will definitely take your hand and put
Can
you
I
through.
add?
Yes.
Can I add here that because I knew I was going to apply early, right? So
Yeah.
in my first 2 weeks in class, I was asking people, please, I would love for or you to free me. And many people were, they are just nice. They would say yes. So I mean, from the start, I already had that. Then secondly, I definitely pallied up with everyone in class and the people that taught us. During my thesis, right? Because I had made such a good impression in the class, right? The person in charge of my own, I told her that, madam, I need to leave here with a first class. I told her pointedly, but I could do that because, we it could relate, and I needed her to score me a certain amount to push me into that, and she did it. So getting to know people will definitely help you out. It can never hurt you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm still coming back to you. So
no problem.
I think Rachel has a question. Rachel, can you go on with your question, please?
Okay, good evening, everyone. My question is this. I don't know if I heard correctly. Mr. Rio had said that you can start working full-time from school or something like that from
applying.
the month. Applying, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's applying from June. Because I was wondering that, how when you're issued a visa, there are terms and conditions, and it says 20 hours that you're entitled to 20 hours working period and all that.
Yes,
so if you can please
stated
clarify
that you
sir.
can start working from June, and I meant it. You can start working full time. It is there in the laws. During school term, you can work 20 hours. But from June 1st, you can start to work 40 hours every week. It is clearly stated there. If you read it from top to bottom, it is stated there. And I got my offer letter in early June, and I started working full-time by late June.
Okay, is it because it falls into the summer period, or is it because that was your dissertation or thesis period?
Oh, no, it was not tied to that at all.
Okay.
Their law clearly states that during term time is either your first or your second semester. So it is clearly stated there that from September up until December, I think mid, right? You can work 20 hours. Between mid-December and mid-January, you can work 40 hours.
Okay, because that falls into the holiday period.
It's clearly stated there. But once you're, but once your second semester starts again, you cannot work 40 hours. You will have to do 20 hours. And your second semester is like from January ending until May.
Okay.
If you read the law says that from June 1st, they actually stated it that from the 1st of June, you can start working 40 hours.
Okay.
And working 40 hours means that you are working full time. So
okay. So Rachel, you're clear about that, right? Okay. So I'm going to move on to Agape. Agape is
yes, I'm clear. Thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome. So Agape is a data analyst. Agape, are you ready for us?
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hello, evening. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I really don't have much to say compared to what Mr. Raya and Mr. Bukwa said earlier, because my experience is way different from, I think, what everyone had. I came here in October 2020, And my lectures were practically online, so I didn't even have the experience of being in school physically to have lectures and meet with people. So that's why I said it's quite a different experience from everyone. But one thing I will say is when you're coming into, I'm currently in Ireland, sorry, I didn't state that at the beginning, Cork City, Ireland. So one thing I would say is be prepared before you come into the country, like Mr. Rio said earlier. Have a plan and what you want to achieve, the kind of course you want to come in for, the kind of jobs you're looking to get. That's really important. And also when you get here, it will be good to make connections, not just with your Nigerian fellow friends, but also with the Irish people. You have different cultures here. You have people from India, you have people from Romania, you have people from South Africa. There are lots of different cultures here. So it's good you make connections because you really can't say who would help you in getting jobs and who will be able to refer you for one thing or the other. So don't just restrict yourself to making Nigerian friends alone. And even in the school community, ensure that you are include yourself in different activities that the school organizes. They have international office where they set up different activities in terms of culture, in terms of hackathons like IT, where you have competitions and different things like that, which will enable you get closer to your lecturers, closer to the school community, and they could actually refer you for different things, not just academically now, it could be for various reasons. And another thing I will say is, so the international office in my school usually have a time where you have different companies come to talk to each department in, I think towards the summer, I guess. And you could actually send out your CVs to them during the talk show. And that way you're able to get jobs even way before you're done with your master's degree. I had 3 friends of mine who actually got their jobs about 3-4 months before the master's program was over. I just received an offer from Amazon about 2 months ago, and I completed my degree in January. So I completed my project in January, that's my thesis. And within 2-3 weeks, I was given an offer from Amazon. So it's quite easy for you to get a job if you do the right things and you make connections with people who could actually refer you and talk you through the most important things to do. Like Mr. Reyes said, on your CV, they have different standards. So the Nigerian standard of CV that we have might not be the same thing that would be here. So it's good you make connections and talk to people. Let them go through your CV to see if it's actually what they will take as a standard here. And having a good experience as well will be very important. And some of the jobs here might not be what some Nigerians would love to do. I've had Nigerian friends who are here and said, oh, I can't get a job where I'm going to be a cleaner or a customer service or one thing, because I'll never do that in Nigeria. And to me, it's like, fine, it's not the job you want. But then again, if you can have something doing worthwhile, why not start and gain the experience? Because that's what most of these guys look out for. Having the experience and you being in the community, they say that, okay, you've not just been in the country doing nothing, you've actually worked. So even if you have the job for about 3-4 months and you have that experience on your CV, it's something that not doing anything at all. So it just really depends on what your plan is for. Some people just want to leave the country, Nigeria, just to be out. So people really want to get good jobs. So it depends on the purpose of which you are leaving the country. What other thing can I add again? Oh yes,
let me go back to that point you made. Like,
okay.
So you're trying to explain when students come in and the survival jobs they need to get. So I know,
Yes.
like, we come with so much experience from Nigeria, and we come with so much ego as well. So for some of us, we are able to say, oh, I cannot do I cannot be a caregiver. I cannot be doing diaper work. I cannot do cleaning. There are other jobs people can do. So, so can you expatiate more on that, please?
Okay, so you have, I think most of the popular jobs here at the moment is customer service
Okay.
and healthcare.
Okay.
Those are the very popular, it's very easy to get. Those jobs are very easy to get. So that's most of the jobs that most people run to apply for because you can get at the tip of your fingers very, very easily.
Easy to
And for healthcare, you have more Nigerians doing the healthcare because they actually sponsor their visa. That's one. And then so it's not that stressful because you're just taking care of people if you enjoy taking care of people. For customer service, you tend to talk on the phone. Not everyone likes to talk on the phone. But if you want to go into like professional jobs, those jobs might take a while for you to get. Number one, you need to have a very good experience in the country before you can get those professional jobs. So they usually look out for people who have worked in Ireland for say a year and above. If you're looking for a professional job, you need to have worked in the country for at least a year. So even if you have like say 3-4 years experience professionally in Nigeria, they still would look at your CV quite, but they would prefer someone who has worked in the country before even considering you.
Yeah. Okay.
So there are generally speaking, there are other jobs that you could actually get, but all the menial jobs, most Africans run away from, oh, I can't clean, oh, I can't take care of people, oh, I can't do this menial jobs. And to be honest, it's almost the same salary. So why stress? The thing is you have a job and you're able to pay your rent and able to sort out yourself pending when you get your dream job or your professional job. So I don't know. I think it just depends on what you're looking forward to handle and what you can do.
Okay. So let me just quickly add that what survival job does for you again is it helps incorporate into the culture easier and faster because you get to learn their language, the way they communicate, even moving around, traveling around, moving around, transportation system and all that. So it really helps. So it's not just like, and like she said earlier, you don't have to work in healthcare. There are other things you could do. You could work as a customer service officer. You could work in hospitality. So hospitality has to be somebody working as maybe as a receptionist in an hotel or in a restaurant or something like that, or in an eatery or so. So it's important that for starters, let's bring down the ego a little bit. So because on the long run, it helps you for you to adapt faster, for you to be able to land the dream job you're looking for. So, okay, Agape.
And one other thing I would like to add as well is making connections, to be honest, is very, very important.
Okay.
Very, very, very important. Like I had the challenge of having to meet people when I came. Like I said, all the lectures were online. It was COVID period. So you weren't even able to meet people. You can imagine how difficult that was. We weren't able to step out. So having to meet people online and then try to make friends with people, ask different questions. Nobody thinks of you are asking a very stupid questions. Talk to your lecturers. They're always willing to help. The academic office is always willing to help. Your lecturers are always willing to help. No matter how irrelevant your question is, they don't see that as, oh, you're asking a very stupid question or very relevant. They're always willing to help and break down everything that is needed for you to be a better person. So it might not even just be academics alone. Mental health, so very, very important. If you need someone to talk to, you're struggling academically, you're struggling mentally, they're always there to assist you, to put you through whatever thing that will be needed to make you have a very good experience academically, mentally, and also in the country. And then to also be advisable to start applying for jobs even while you're in school. Like Mr. Rio said, during the summer, you're able to work for 40 hours full-time. And then during the school period, you're able to work 20 hours. You have some companies who are also willing to sponsor your visa towards the end of your school. So it's never too early to apply for jobs, to apply for your dream job while you're still in school. You have companies who could say, okay, we have these contracts for you, and when you're done with school, you could resume with us. So it's never too early to start applying for your dream jobs now. And also, you should look at the city which you like to work in. There are different cities and different prices of rent fees. Like Mr. Rio said, the houses in Dublin are extremely expensive. You have other areas like Cork, Limerick, Galway. So you can just like check Google and check for the different prices and cost of living in the different cities. So you can also streamline your cost expenses and whatever area you'd like to be in Ireland.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Mr. Ayodotson, you raised your hand. I don't know if you still have your question.
Not at all. I think she mentioned what I wanted to ask her about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Gifts. Let me move on to Gifts. So Gifts she studied finance at the National College of Ireland. So I don't know if Gifts is available now. Gifts.
Hi.
Hi.
Good evening,
How are
everybody.
you? Evening. Good to see you. How you doing?
Okay. Thank you. I don't really have so much to say. I think the two speakers before me said a lot. I'm just going to mention a few things. I got into Ireland in 2018. I've been here for almost 4 years. And I did my master's in finance from National College of Ireland. But one thing I've learned in my time here is that you need to build your professional network. I cannot overemphasize how important that is. I know Agape just spoke about it, but like she said, when she came in, it was like the COVID period and you were not able to meet people physically. But there's something that works in Ireland. It's something I'm actually going to limit my talk to. It's just LinkedIn. Okay. So LinkedIn is a very powerful platform in Ireland. Like most of the jobs, most of the connections, most of the network you're going to build is going to be from LinkedIn. So I have worked in about, I think, 3 different jobs already. And those 3 jobs, I got them through referrals. It's good to throw in applications and apply and everything. I know. It's also good to have a very strong network. I got jobs through word of mouth. I did not need to apply. I did not need to through the normal processes and everything.
Everybody is going through, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just be, oh, hey, I'm looking for a job right now. I'm open to changing my role and everything. And like, oh yeah, I know about position open. If you want to send your CV over to me. So things like that, you need to build your network. You need to attend, things like this, Zoom meetings, webinars, career talks, things like that. Just meet people, be open. You cannot come to Ireland and want to be on your own. You need to make friends. Like Agape said, make friends with people that are not from Nigeria as well. Make friends with everybody, your lecturers from school, every single person. Everybody is important. Do not underestimate what someone can do in your life. Yeah. It's very funny. Like you can get your job. I don't know how to explain. In a minute, someone can actually help you and change your life forever. So you need to be very, let's say conscious now. You need to be very particular, be very, I don't know the word to use, just be very serious.
Intentional in networking.
Very intentional, exactly. Yeah. Be very intentional about building your professional network. And it's not just about building your professional network. You need to be ready at every point in time. I've had people say, oh, Gibbs, are you ready? Can you pick up your phone? Can you go through a phone call with me? And that's an interview. Oh. You have the people messaging you on LinkedIn saying, oh, hi, I came across your profile and are you available for a quick chat? Oh, walk me through your CV. Do this and do that. And that brings me to the point about you selling yourself. Always put your best foot forward. You should be able to sell yourself in a way that people immediately see your value. People immediately see the value you can bring to the company. When you're coming here as an international student, you want someone to sponsor your visa, you need to be able to show them that, oh, I can do so, 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 and so for your company. Like, I've not worked with you before. You don't know me, I don't know you. But what I can actually show is the value that, I've sold to you. You can see this through the way you talk during interviews or before you get to the interview stage, through your CV. Your CV needs to be very strong. So they'll tell you should always tweak your CV to every role you apply to, which is something that works because most times it's not a human being going through the CVs during the first stage. It's the software or whatever that sieves out that CV. So your CV needs to be on point at every point in time. So apart from that, I think everybody's going to be grand. Like it's not a walk in the park. It's not a bed of roses. It's going to get very difficult. Your mental health, like Agape said, is it's something that you would be it would be tested, I would say. But I think at the end of the day, everyone just kind of like gets settled. You just need to make the right friends, you need to do the right things, and also you need to relax, you need to be able to take time off. It's not every time this. There's sometimes you just get tired. And sometimes you just feel defeated and everything, but it's not going to be difficult always. People would get jobs 1 month after they come, 2 months after they come. People will get jobs 3 years or 2 years after they come. So it just depends on you doing the right thing. Like I said, your network is very important. Make use of LinkedIn. It's very, very, very important. Make use of LinkedIn, show value, your CV show value, your LinkedIn show value, your social media. Like, even if you're not someone like me, I am not very chatty. Like, I don't know how to immediately click with someone or something. You can do that by just, posting like, oh, I got like this certification today, put it on LinkedIn, like just show people like what you can do and things like that. You get certifications, put up that certificate on LinkedIn and something. Be very active, be very proactive, make conscious steps, like take conscious efforts towards selling value, towards showing value. And I just feel everything would work out. Very important as well. I was going to talk about this sponsorship with employers. So the thing is, not every employer knows the rules concerning sponsorship. Yeah. Most of them would tell you that, oh, sorry, we do not sponsor. It's now left for you to do your own research. You can tell them, oh, I don't need you to sponsor. I just need you to be able to provide some documents and I will sponsor myself. Mm-hmm. So to sponsor yourself, you need your employer to obviously provide some documents and you need 1,000 euros. It's very, very easy to get 1,000 euros when you start working. So people don't know that it's that easy. So they just tell you, oh, no, we don't sponsor you. So just let them know, oh, that's fine. I don't mind. I will do it myself, but I just need you to, give me a letter or whatever the immigration office is asking for, and then I do it myself. So you need to know the rules concerning sponsorship when you're applying for jobs with particular companies. And then, yeah, I think that's mostly everything I have to say.
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to ask a question. I remember when you came in, I'm going to talk about the support the schools provide. So I have some students that they necessarily could not afford the very high-end schools. So I'm talking about the top 10 universities in Ireland. So when you're talking about Trinity College and all that, and then you tell them that, oh, you know what, why not go to this particular school? And they're like, no. The reason why I like smaller schools is because they put in conscious efforts to make sure that everybody, all of their students is either getting into jobs, they are tracking their process, they are providing help and all that. And I remembered when you came in, I think like 2 years after you came in, Michael would randomly just chat me up and say, oh, have you heard about the student? What's the student up to? Are they working now? Are they not working now? And all that. So I wanted you to briefly explain that part, the importance of that part as well to one's journey.
So for me, especially in Ireland, I don't really see the importance of people saying, oh, I don't go to this particular kind of school. Like every school year, I think, to my knowledge, is accredited, is recognized. Mm-hmm. Like, so it doesn't really matter if you go to the bigger schools or the smaller schools. The bigger schools are way more expensive. I'm not even going to lie. It's so expensive. And you're getting the exact same thing you're going to get if you go to the smaller schools, like the smaller, I would say colleges, not university. If you go to the smaller colleges like National College of Ireland, like exactly like Ibukun said, like the support is 100%. Like I worked in the international office as an international peer mentor, so I know that we have like counseling for students. You can actually see a counselor because when you come to Ireland with school and working and everything, you just get overwhelmed. Sometimes you need someone to talk to. So I know the support. Great. The careers support is great as well. You have one-on-one meetings like with professionals, recruiters, career coaches and things like that. You have one-on-one meetings with like, I know I had some serious issues when I was doing my dissertation. I could actually see the dean of my college, like just walking to our things like that. So like, I'm just saying like everyone is actually available to you. So because I did not go to those kind of schools, like the big universities and everything, I don't know what it's like for them, but I know that for smaller schools, you're not missing out on anything. You're getting the same exact support you would get from those other kind of universities. So there's no, will I say, differentiation now between them. And companies don't look at that. Trust me, that's the least thing they're looking at. Really, what they're looking at is your experience in Ireland, like even outside of Ireland, what can you actually bring to our company? They're not asking you the school you graduated from. So, I mean, it's not really a thing. I would not make that an issue at all.
Well, thank you. So,
and I add to that.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So like I studied at WIT, and yeah, it is in a town that's like about 2 hours from Dublin. It's not too big. It isn't too small, but I enjoyed it, and I chose that specifically because number one, their fees were really good. It was affordable one, and then the cost of living there was like half of what I would have been spending in Dublin.
Okay.
And because all of us as international students were all close.
Mr. Ria.
Got a job. It pushed, it seems as if we can actually graduate. The entire international students for my set last year, we all got jobs before September. So your school does not hold you back at all.
Okay. Thank you for that very, very insightful information, because I remembered when I went to the UK, my school was like top 35 or so in the UK, then out of like 120 universities they had at the time. And then now these days, you just people that say, oh, I just want the top 10, I want the top 20. And the funny thing about it was that before I was done with the 2-year program, we were at number 70. So it doesn't take the value away from my credentials, because I know what skill set I've gone to the school to acquire and all. So I don't see a reason why my school is top 10 and then my school is now at number 80. So far you're focused. So far you know what you're getting, the value you intend to get from that program and all that. And for me, for Republic of Ireland specifically, because I work with both the bigger schools and I won't say the smaller schools, let me just say the colleges and all. So I work with both Institutes of Tech and I work with the big named universities. And I've actually seen that for the smaller ones, they try as much as possible to go the extra mile to provide support to their students. However, for the bigger one, the bigger the school, the bigger the headache. So you have a longer chain of people that you have to connect with. So even for me as an agent, if I need information, it might take the school like 3 weeks, sometimes 2 weeks for me to get the information I need for a student. So as an agent, it's already making me look incompetent, because as compared to like smaller schools where I can easily just call Kieran now that, okay, Kieran, I could even chat him up on WhatsApp. Kieran, I need this information. And they would tell me, oh, just send me an email to just formalize things. And I'm getting the information I need. So I could imagine what students will be going through. So specifically saying that, what I'm trying to say specifically is that it doesn't, you going to the number 1 school or top 5 schools in Ireland, or you going to a college in Ireland, doesn't necessarily take away the quality of the education you're getting or the value you're getting. And you probably will actually get more support from a mini school or a smaller school, in quote unquote, as compared to a bigger school. I know like Nigeria, we like to move with big names and all that, but it doesn't, when it comes to the international environment, it doesn't really so much carry weight as such. So Temilade, I don't know if Temilade wants to add anything to this.
Hey everybody, good evening.
Good evening, Temi.
My name is good evening. My name is Temilade. I came into Ireland in 2019, and that was pandemic started during that period, 2020. That was when I graduated. I graduated in November, and actually from before I graduated, I started putting in my CV out for jobs. I went to career service. I did everything, but I was just getting a no Like I even have like my bulk email full with no. So there's one thing I want to advise everyone today is that just prepare your mind for a no. You can't get a yes at every period in time. So you just have to set your mind that there's some people that will give me a no, but even though I get this no, I'm not going to stop. I have to keep pushing out, because we see some people when you get no, like for me, my mindset wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be getting no's. It really affected my mental health. But that's why I tell people that just come in, that see, just prepare your mind for a no, because you still get that no matter what you do. That I now noticed that I needed to work on my LinkedIn. So I took up my LinkedIn profile. I contacted a company actually, and I was like, oh, that I'm not getting on it. And the company also helped me updating my LinkedIn profile, and also gave out my CV for a professional to work on. So after then, I kept on sending out. I used LinkedIn to send out. And at the end of the day, I got a contract job through LinkedIn. And that's another thing we need to look out again, is that there's so many people that will get contract jobs and will be like, oh, because it's a contract job, I'm not going to take it. No, don't limit yourself. As a conscious staff, that was how I started with. I started with a contract job. And when you're a contract job, just set your mind that, oh, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to achieve as a contract staff. So what I did was that I made sure, like at the front of my manager, I was able to stand out with everything I did. Like, you have to be this kind of person that you are in a team of people, and when people are not around, you are there to work extra mile to be able to show your talent and everything. So through that, I was able to talk with my manager that, oh, I wanted a permanent job. So what I'm trying to say is that even if you are applying to jobs, don't limit yourself to the website of a company. Also apply to agencies for contract job. From there, you can also get a permanent job, because I would say for me, contract is easier, because when you apply to most of their websites, when they filter, most of the things that do require sponsorship, because most companies don't understand what sponsorship means. Everybody just believes that sponsorship is like, they are going to collect one big money from me. So exactly. And that's really like limits and when you now talk to them and you're like, oh, I'm on a stamp 1G, that's stamp 1G. They don't even understand the meaning of stamp 1G. They just want someone with a stamp 4. A stamp 4 is a resident. So once you go, sometimes when you go through most contracts company understand the stamps, and when you tell them this is it, and when you go into the company, you can actually sit down with your manager and explain what your stamp means and what they mean by sponsoring. Because most of my friends actually started with contract, and at the end of the day, they were able to secure a permanent role. Then another thing I would like to share again is, when you start working, like when you come into Ireland, get yourself involved with so many things. Volunteer to people, like get a lot of volunteer jobs and do it. It's like an exception on your CV. Once they see you are volunteering, they're like, oh, you actually give time to people that need it. It's exceptional, like it's a way of adding value. Because even this, like when we all came to Ireland, we're all doing this kitchen porter job and everything. But on a professional CV, you can't put a kitchen porter there. If you put a like a volunteering job on it, it's an exception to your CV. So that's one thing I would like people to also look out for. And also get experience from your own country. Don't say that, oh, because I want to travel out of the country, I'm not going to work. No, it doesn't work that way. Gain a bit of experience, know what you're doing when you come to Ireland. Everyone, like most people I've met, when they come to Ireland, we all see that we're like, what's our focus? What do you want? Where do you see ourselves in? When I came into Ireland, I was like, I came here to study marketing, but I'm not in that field. What I did in Nigeria, that's the line I still continued with. So it's something like that's I said, gain experience, because if you submit your CV to like a company, they'll be like, oh, even most of these contract jobs, you see them, they're requesting for someone with 2 years, 3 years experience. So your experience back in Nigeria really counts a lot. That's why I tell people that when you graduate, as you're waiting for something, just make sure you are working, not just saying that, oh, because I'm traveling out of the country, I'm not going to do anything. It doesn't work that way. You have to keep yourself busy, because there's something, once you're applying for a job and you have a 6-month gap on your CV, they are going to ask you, what were you doing that period? So if you don't have anything to show for it, they are like, oh, were you just playing? Because I remember when I was trying to transition, they asked me, and that 6 months was even COVID period, like, why were you jobless for 6 months? Explain. And I'd say because of COVID. So talkers of when COVID is over, you're still you're saying you don't have something for 6 months, you have to explain. So I don't want people to just sit down. Another thing again is that make friends with people, talk to people. Like, if people want to talk to you, go out, you talk to people, you learn to share what you're going to. And also you can, if you're actually looking for a job or looking for something when you come to Ireland, learn to share with people. Because so many jobs right here in Ireland will tell you, refer someone to this job. And once you tell someone that, oh, I'm actually looking for a job, it can occur to the person and say, oh, my job actually wants me to refer someone. And the person can take in your CV and you can just get referred like that. Mm-hmm. So don't hide your problems to people. Just at least, I'm not saying you should share your whole secrets. No, that aspect of, oh, I need a job, I need an accommodation, I need something. Learn to tell people. You don't know who is there to help you. Don't keep it to yourself. And there's one thing I always say also, don't box yourself. Like, don't say, like, make yourself open to different opportunities. There are so many, just like what someone said, sorry, I can't remember. The person like, oh, like some people come to Ireland and they're saying I can't do menial jobs. See, when I first came to Ireland, I was a kitchen potter. I washed plates. Like, I washed it. I've never washed it in my life. Pots that is bigger than my head. I've washed it before. So if I was still saying that I'm not going to wash plate, I'm not going to do anything, how will you support yourself? There are some jobs, there are some odd jobs, you just have to do it because you have a bigger picture ahead of you. My friends and I, we just joke with some things. We'll be like, we've washed plates, we've washed toilets in asylum. We say, don't worry, we just tell our children the story when we grow up. It's just a phase that will pass. But at least just to make sure you are not just sitting, because it's a country where you are paying bills. Nobody will pay your bills for you. I moved, when I went to Ireland, I started with Limerick. I went to LIT. And, in Limerick, our rent was petty, like very small rent to pay. And all of a sudden, I moved to Dublin. Imagine you having like times 200 bills of what you are paying in Limerick, in Dublin. So if we had not worked hard, or if we had not like had a goal or something set aside, we wouldn't be able to, because here in Ireland, you have to pay 2 rents when you are entering the house. So I just want my take on everyone today is just that know what you are coming to do, set out a goal and a plan for yourself. Because if you don't have a plan and you just say, oh, I'm relocating to this country because everybody is going there, I'm so sorry, that person will fail. You have to have a reason why you're going to a country. What difference do you want to make at work? What difference do you want to make in your school? In school, you have to be diligent. In school, you have to do all your assignments for you to pass. It's not like Nigeria, whereby you can sleep in your house. They need to see what you have done. And most importantly, sorry, I want to add, if you don't know how to work in a team, you have to learn how to work in a team, because it's not a one-man business. Everyone wants to know what you can do. Every job will tell you, if you don't know how to work in a team, you can't work with the job. So that's my take. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Temi. So I'm going to add to Temi's explanation of teamwork, and I'm going to use myself as a practical experience. I know, like when we are in Nigeria and they put you in a group, which they hardly do, you always want to like supersede everybody. Let the lecturer see that I've put in the work by myself. Probably I'll be able to get more points. Loriro in the UK. So those ones, I tried doing that. Unfortunately for me, I was in a group with very unserious people. from different nationalities. I had Asian, I had someone from Bangladesh, I had someone from China and all that. And then I was like, okay, maybe when they were not responding to when we had meetings. So I felt like, okay, let me just do this coursework. And then probably out of the 15 points we are all getting, they will award more to me than the other people that were not really serious about it. And I went to submit, and then I was like, okay, so where's the signature of all the remaining team members? And I'm like, no, I was the only one that did the work. And I said, no. Everyone has to contribute. So you either go back, because even if we give you, if you have got scored 10 out of 15, all of them, irrespective if they've done the work or not, they've not done the work, you're all getting 10 and all that. So I had to go back, and then we had to come back, find a way to communicate, find a very good or convenient time for everybody to meet and do the work. So it's very, very important that if you're completing an academic program, or even before you leave Nigeria, incorporate it into your system. For people that like to work alone, learn to work with other people, learn to be able to communicate effectively and efficiently. So communication is not just that I want to be the only contributor, because I've gone through a phase in Nigeria when I was in the Polytechnic Nigeria, and we have scholars. Scholars don't know, most of them don't know how to carry people along in whatever they are doing. They just want to be able, I don't know who's talking. So they just want to be able to score the whole point and all those kind of things. So, but it's important when you get abroad or for developed countries that you can work as part of a team, because it shows that you can actually cope with different people, because they all come from different backgrounds, different academic background, or family background and culture, the cultural difference and all that. So it's important that we can all work as part of a team. Now I'll go back. Okay, so I'm going to go back to sharing my screen, which is the last part of this session, before we welcome any other questions and answers.
ICaS.
Yes, please.
Yeah, about the LinkedIn thing, right?
Yes,
it is very, very key. But one common error that a lot of people do is that their LinkedIn profile does not match their CV. That's a big error. It's a big flag. You must ensure that exactly what you put on LinkedIn is it tallies the dates, the times, the workplaces, everything has to be in line with what you submit. So I would just like to just make that clear.
Oh, thank you very much. And also, I forgot, Mr. Rio posted some links in the chat box, so kindly go through it. I think you mentioned that if you're trying to apply for your critical critical skills employment permit by yourself, there's some videos on YouTube that people can actually go and check and see if they will be able to pick one or two things from there towards the application. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen, and the last part I'm going to talk about is basically about where to check if you're applying for jobs and all that. And then people that are actually in Ireland will be able to contribute which one works better and which ones works the best and be better than each one another. Hold on for me, please. Okay. Okay, so we have the grad jobs, we have Google Careers, we have the jobs.ie, the full stop at the back, please ignore, and then we have Recruit Ireland and CPL. So I'm going to talk about the CPL recruitments. So CPL is like an agency, and I'm going to mention this because the person we had that was a nurse that got sponsored, CPL was like the middle person in middleman. It's an agency, so they're the middleman that found the University Teaching Hospital, the University Hospital in Ireland, and then the clients reached out to them and they were able to bring them together. So if you're looking for jobs, I don't know, I'm not so sure if they cover every other profession, but I know for healthcare, things relating to if you're a medical doctor, if you're a nursing, if you're a nursing staff, I think they use nursing staff or something like that, or a midwife in Nigeria, if you're into health related professions in Nigeria, you can actually reach out to CPL recruitment and speak to them. But please bear in mind that you'll be required to have your academic IELTS or general IELTS, depending on what they tell you. But it's important that you have an English proficiency test results, and you need to score very well in that regard as well. So they would look for employers for you. They will let you know, and then they negotiate on your behalf. But you're carried along all through the step. So it's very important if you're into healthcare or an health-related course or a health-related profession to reach out to them. For a nursing, for the client that we had that went as a nurse, she has had over 23 years. She has over 20 years experience as a practicing nurse at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital before she traveled. So if you don't have up to that years of experience, your own adaptation process would be totally different from our own adaptation process. Our own adaptation process is just for 6 weeks, and she's still being paid a salary for that. They are covering her ticket fee and every other thing like that. I know some nursing students or nursing graduates or nurses in Nigeria that have less than 5 years. They have to go through a different adaptation process. So they probably will need to go to an adaptation offered by Royal University of Surgery or something like that. They call them, it's one of the top medical universities in Ireland. So I'm just trying to say that your years of experience will determine how soon or how long the process would be for you to eventually get that work permit sponsorship from Nigeria. That is if you're applying from Nigeria. If you're currently in Ireland and you're doing something relating to health, you can actually as well reach out to CPL recruitment. LinkedIn, like they've emphasized upon, please try as much as possible to look at what somebody taught me a trick that if you're looking to work, let's say, for example, you're looking to work as a financial analyst. If you go to the search bar on LinkedIn and put financial analyst, the first profile of the person that comes out, look at that person's profile. That person is probably doing something right. That is why their profile is being on top of the search lists that you've gotten. So you probably might try that out. Try and update your LinkedIn. Try and make yourself open to work. And then, like Mr. Rio said, try as much as possible to make sure that your CV aligns with whatever information you've provided on your LinkedIn, so that you don't look as if you're passing wrong information or you're being deceitful, because oyinbos and deceit, they don't go together the same way. So it's important that we are being honest in everything we're doing. Another thing is to make sure that you're networking with the right people on LinkedIn. You just don't want to be adding friends, adding people that are actually going to be relevant to the career you're looking to pursue. So I will stop sharing, and then we'll welcome any questions that people might have.
While we wait for the questions, right? While studying here, you have the opportunity to join many organizations as a student member, and most times it is free. So take advantage of that. If you are like an engineer like me, I joined Chartered Institute of Builders, I joined Engineers Island, I joined Energy Institute of Europe, and I mean I got all of these things, and you can put them on your LinkedIn, and it makes you to just look a bit more packaged.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Rio, for that. So Franklin says, is Ireland a tech hub? So most American or Silicon Valley tech companies have their European headquarters in Ireland. So and because it's a smaller country as compared to the US, people categorize it as a tech hub mostly because of the likes of Facebook, Google, and others. But then there are other organizations that are not tech that have their headquarters in Ireland. For example, I think Tim Lade works in Bank of America, so they are in Ireland as well. And then there are different companies, Irish companies as well, European country, companies that are currently based in Ireland. So I think it all depends on what you're looking for. Not everybody will work in Facebook, and not everybody definitely will work in Google. So it's a tech company, it's a tech hub, depending on the kind of qualifications or skill sets you have. And because of the kind of American companies that are currently based in Ireland or using Ireland as their European headquarters, but there are different and much more, let me say, significant number of opportunities, work opportunities in Ireland. Yeah. Mr. Ayodato, yeah, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you everyone. I appreciate all the speakers also. Actually, I'm a telecoms engineer. I've been working for over 10 years now, and I'm actually moving into the management aspects. Like everyone said, that one is to be prepared. So my plan is to write my PMP exam and also write Agile. I want to ask if that would be relevant to or be another advantage for me to probably quickly get a job, because I have colleagues also in Canada who also said it is quite important you have that before coming into Canada. I want to ask if that is relevant also in Ireland. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Let me give my my own answer. Then other people can contribute as well.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of just getting IT certifications. I'm not a fan of that. I'm a fan of you looking into. I think what you should do probably would be list like 2 or 3 jobs that you see yourself working as if you get to Ireland. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So if you're looking at, okay, I'm in telecommunications, this is my academic background, I think I can work as a project manager. I can work as an IT, maybe business analyst, something like that, or maybe cybersecurity profession, cybersecurity person or network security person. So then you go and look for these jobs and then look at what is the requirement. I think that might help you align which IT certification courses you probably need to do. Sometimes you don't actually need IT certifications if you're currently doing the job, if you have the work experience and you have the skill set. So depending on the job, you see some jobs that will tell you that, oh, can you use Prince 2 very well or MS Project? I'm just using as an example, can you use Jira very well? So if you're currently using Jira very well and using a lot of the Agile tools already, you probably might not need the Agile, if there's a certification exam for Agile, I don't know, you probably might not need that certification exam. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So it's important that you try to look at the jobs you'll be applying for and try to study what the requirements are before you delve into acquiring IT certifications. So if anybody has other additions.
So yeah. IT generally it's quite hot here, and as ICaS has said, your best bet is to look for a job and profile or several that will match your skills or like what you intend to come and study here, and then tailor your certification along those lines. But then also there is something here called CPD, which is continual professional development, right? And most companies, they will still train you if you have any need on the job, like for me, right? I have started coding because I work with a software company, even though I did not come here to learn software, but half of my job now involves that, and the company is training me to acquire those skills.
I'm sorry, please. I would like to add something. Basically, according to what I really support what everyone has said. So I would like to say something that you can acquire. See, if you keep writing exams and writing exams and writing exams, and you don't know what you want to do with it, it's actually not going to be useful, because you need to understand what you want to do first. Because people will keep telling you, write this exam, write that exam. They will tell you a lot, but you yourself have to sit down and ask yourself, what do I want to do? Because even all these companies we over here, most of them still give you the money to go and write the professional exam that is required of you to write. It's not even all companies that need it. Some will tell you that we don't even need your professional exam. What we need is what is in you, what you can bring to the table. So my own advice would be, you can research what company you want to work for, then see what the company has to offer you. If the company is saying, okay, you want to go to, this is the country I want to go to, this is the job I'm looking at, this is the company I'm looking at, what do they require? What do they want me to do? And you can tailor your CV and everything towards what you want to do. That's my own advice that I would say.
Yeah, thank you, Temilade, because at the end of the day, you don't want to look overqualified for something that you are still learning on. So you don't want to, because once they see CPD, CIM, SCCA, everything, they themselves might even feel intimidated. And they are just looking for somebody that will come in at the entry level that they want to train. And you're already looking like senior general manager with your CV. So it might bring a little bit, it might work at a disadvantage for you. So I'll just say, just tailor your CV to look professionally like they were advised, and then probably do a little bit of research and see which organizations, what organizations are asking for. And then probably if you feel like it's important for you to have the certifications, but I would always advise that you have the skill set rather than the certifications instead in this case.
All right. Thank you. I understand. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Any other question? Okay, if you don't want to talk, you can type it in the chat box and then I will read it out. Or you can send it to me privately through the chat box as well. Yeah.
I have another question.
Okay.
Can I go ahead? Yeah, I was thinking, what about if I get admission into any of the school in Ireland? Can I also come with my family? Is that applicable?
Unfortunately, not at the moment. For a master's degree, might be open. It's actually open for a PhD or a researcher, someone doing a PhD studies. But it's still not advisable because from what I've read so far, I've not had a PhD student that is married. So I'm going to say from what I've read so far. So from what I've read so far and from inquiries I've gotten, if you're going for a PhD, they allow you come with your family, but your spouse will not be eligible to work. They can go to school, but they will not be eligible to work. So it's a waste of time and effort. So at the moment, Ireland does not allow you to come with your family. If, however, when you're done with your master's program and you have started working and you're earning the minimum expected amount you need to earn per year for you to request for your family to come over, then they can join you. So that process might take 1 year of your master's, excluding the 1 year duration of your master's program. It might take another 15 months after you complete your studies for your family to join you. But at the moment for masters, for undergraduate programs, you're not allowed to bring your family members or dependents along. The UK, however, allows it, if that's an option you'll be willing to consider.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I would also like to add that here in Ireland, they are more favorable for older people coming to also study. So yeah, they do not look at age, for jobs and for things like that. So it is open to everyone, whether you are young or you are, advanced in age.
Yeah, thank you very much. So the most like Ireland and let me say the UK, but mostly for Ireland actually, unless you're going for an undergraduate program and you need to explain what you have been doing, that you're not coming for BSc at 30 years or at 25 years. For master's program, there's no age limit. You could be 21 and come from for a master's program, and you could be 65 and come for a master's program. So there's no age limit to you acquiring education in the Republic of Ireland. So someone has just sent a question that most Ireland requires full tuition. So not all schools require full tuition for Ireland. There are some schools that have alternative for you to pay the minimum 6,000 euros as required by the visa office. So the visa office has pegged that if you're coming to Ireland, the minimum amount you should have paid towards your tuition is 6,000. However, some schools require that you pay full tuition. However, also some schools require that you only fulfill that 6,000 euros. So examples of schools that you can actually pay a partial fee before you apply for your visa would be University of Limerick, Dublin Business School, and Technological University Dublin. So those three schools allow partial payments for you to apply for your visa. But please bear in mind that although you have paid 6,000 euros, the balance on your tuition together with your living expenses should be in your bank account. And for Ireland, they require 6 months bank statements as compared to the UK that requires 30 days bank statements. So it's important. It's not necessary or important that the amount of money you need should be in the account for a period of 6 months, but you should have a proof for wherever any big money or lump sum is coming into your account. There should be a proof of where that money has come from and the source of those funds. There should be a verifiable and a genuine proof to back those funds up. But bear in mind that you'll be presenting 6 months bank statement. So let me repeat myself. Dublin Business School, Technological University Dublin, University of Limerick, they all accept the 6,000 minimum tuition deposit as specified by the embassy. But you still need to show that you have the balance on your tuition together with your living expenses in your bank account at the time when you're applying for visa. So if there's no other question, I think we round up the session. I would like to thank everybody. Mr. Rio, thank you very much for contributing and taking time out. Gift, thanks a lot. Agape, I appreciate you. Temilade, thank you for always being there for us. And thank you all for connecting. And our email address is sales.info@icas.com.ng. So I'm going to type it here, sales.info@icas.com.ng. So if you have any additional questions, and then there's another email we used in sending out the Zoom link for everybody. That is ICaS@gmail.com. So if you have any further questions, you can reach out to us through those means, sales.info@icas.com.ng, icasnigeria@gmail.com. Thank you everybody for your time. And I hope this session has provided a bit of insight and informative insights to your pursuits. And we look forward. We wish you all the best in your career and your pursuits, your career pursuit as well. So have a lovely evening, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good, lovely evening.